Hello and welcome to another episode of All Elite Arcade. It's Monday and it is time to discuss the video games of the week with Evil Uno and the Chugs. Chugs, how you doing this week?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a busy week when it comes to gaming and news and things like that. So I feel like we got plenty to talk about this week, which is exciting.
Oh yeah, we have a lot. With a big Switch Direct dropped. We've got Switch 2 news. We've got teases for games we've been talking about for months, and we've been playing a lot of games too. Chugs, what's currently you're still in your 5 game cycle? What's the updates?
I am, yeah. So in regards to the 5 game cycle, Uno, I was real excited. Once again, I'm making some really good progress, both on stream and off stream. Specifically on stream, I was convinced that I was going to recently beat Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, an excellent turn-based RPG in the Paper Mario franchise, the Paper Mario series. I believe the second one in the entire franchise. And I had actually, on purpose, Uno, had skipped ahead. So normally I play in order with The Witcher 3, Paper Mario, Dark Souls 2, Ender Magnolia, then Silent Hill, then Restart. But I actually decided to skip ahead to Paper Mario again because I'm like, oh, I got to beat this game. This would be game number 68 that I've beaten on stream, especially as I'm getting ready to celebrate my 5-year anniversary of streaming and then also stream 1000. So it's like, yeah, let's make it 68 games. Uno, I got destroyed by the by the final boss. I streamed for 5 hours and 45 minutes thinking I was definitely going to beat this boss. Now, the entire stream was not me trying to fight this boss, but I'd say the last hour and a half, 2 hours was me trying to beat this boss. And again, I was getting absolutely destroyed. I've never had to do any grinding whatsoever in Paper Mario. And don't get me wrong, here's the thing. I could be making some massive bonehead plays and some very big mistakes. But I went and looked kind of to see what other people had done. And there are so many badges that I need to collect. There's definitely more grinding I could do to make myself stronger. I'm not as strong as I could be, not using the moves that I should. I just recently found out this entire time you can level up your partners, which is really cool. But I could only ever level them up once. Apparently, there's an item that you can get or a wall that you can explode with this partner named Bobbery that allows you or gives you an item to access to be able to level up your partners even more. So where they're even stronger, do even more powerful moves. Like it actually kind of, at first I was really bummed because I was like, oh man, I really wanted to beat this game. But it actually has me so excited that there's so much of this game that I have not discovered yet. I do think I'm on the tail end of beating it for sure, but there is so much more to Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door that I just didn't really expect. Whether it be side quests or things to collect or enemies to fight and bosses to fight, it really is a well fleshed out, just massive RPG, and it's been so much fun. So didn't beat it, but I am at the final boss. And speaking of games that I thought I was almost done with, and then realizing that I'm not, once again I'm playing Pokemon Scarlet off stream on my own, and I had gotten to the point where I had done all the Team Star camps. I had fought all the Titan Pokemon, and I have one more gym before I can go and fight the Elite Four. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to wrap up the Team Star battles. I'm going to wrap up the Titan Pokemon battles. And again, never ran into a situation where I needed to grind or anything like that. Well, I got to these final fights after you complete these camps, and again, just absolutely melted. Just destroyed by a couple of people that I had to fight. So again, I think I need to go out and do some more battles and do some more grinding and explore more of the open world, which is just fine by me because once again, Pokemon Scarlet has a really awesome open world. So again, made a ton of progress, but not quite finished yet, not quite done yet. Also continuing once again the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 campaign. Recently finished probably my favorite mission in the entire game. It's called Emergence, where what happens is, and I think I had mentioned this last time, but your gas mask breaks and then this leak comes in and you're like imagining and fighting zombies and different monsters and enemies because it makes you hallucinate, but they did it in such a cool, creative, and fun way, which is awesome. And then I do also want to mention there are these sections in between the missions that you go on, and you're at an area called the Rook. And what happens is there's a ton of juicy lore where everyone kind of gets together and talks about what they're going to do going forward. If someone's angry about something, if someone has a plan for going into the next mission. And the motion capture, facial capture, and voice acting is so unbelievably impressive. It's so many of these moments where you can just walk around and you can do whatever you want. But lots of times I'll follow the group if someone starts walking somewhere to go talk to someone. It just looks like a real conversation. It's all stuff that how people would act, how people would interact with each other. It is so believable and so incredibly well done. I mean, it's AAA gaming at its finest, honestly. So I really do appreciate in between these really awesome, fun missions, there's all these amazing dialogue interactions with all these characters in Black Ops 6. And then the only other thing, Uno, that I really put a significant amount of time into, of course, is the Pokemon trading card game Pocket. We got a new pack, baby, which is so exciting. Again, I have not completed any of the packs yet. I still have, I think the one I'm closest to is the Mew pack. I need one more card, and then I have them all. But again, that's it. Yep. Well, with the exception, I'm not including star cards or gold cards.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because they aren't listed, so I don't actually know how many there are, but I need one more that's listed as far as a card goes. But again, which means new battles, new packs. There's new starter decks, which I think is really, really cool. I just appreciate how much they keep adding it, and I'm going to continue to collect over and over again. So that's kind of what I've been playing, and that's what I've been doing. So yeah, what about you?
Good segue, because I was going to talk about Pokemon. I was actually kind of getting to the point where I wasn't sure if I was going to keep playing the game, mostly because I'd have days where I'd forget to open packs, and I was starting to... For once, I was like, oh, I'm done with the addiction of opening the pack. I think I can step away and be fine. And then this week, I got mad when I saw last week, I got mad when I saw the announcement of a new pack already, because I was like, no, I thought I might have shed this, but you're doing it so quickly. I now have to check in. And now I'm right back to my old habits. Wake up first thing in the morning. There's 2 packs. Go to bed. Try to use some points. Try to do some battles. Try to open more packs with those points. Buy the stuff in the shop that I can while they have their events. It's still a good game. It's got its hooks synced into me. I'm quite enjoying it for sure. And then this new pack's cool too. There seems to be less cards in this one than the original 3 packs from what I see.
Yes.
It seems to be like a total of 70. And so already, as I open packs, I'm already getting doubles fairly quickly. Which is a disappointing feeling, but that's okay. We're getting forward. I love the occasional time I get a rare one. It still feels incredible. And that game is about to get competition too. I don't know if we had mentioned it last week, but Digimon is coming out with their trading card game as well.
Yes, right. Which is also super exciting. So, and Uno, I did want to mention again, because I really do think this is thanks to you. Is again, my favorite aspect of the Pokemon trading card game Pocket is the collecting. But thanks to you, I genuinely love the battling.
It's really good.
I love the battling system.
Yeah,
it's really, really good. And I love how with every single pack, there's like different things or features or attacks that they add. Like, for example, there's this new Magmar evolution where if you use this move, it does 70 damage. But then on top of that, if that active Pokemon stays, your opponent's active Pokemon stays there, they have to flip a coin. And if it lands on heads, then they do no damage to you. Like there's so many cool.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. But again, it's a 50-50 shot. There are times, so many times, where I will rely so heavily on these coin flips, thinking, okay, this has to pay off. And sometimes it really does. And then other times there are matches I have where I'm hitting tails every time, just doing no damage. So that's the gamble. That's the gamble. But it's cool. I love those features within the game.
Yeah, I love the extra. Every time they bring a new pack, there seems to be like bending of the rules in ways that you don't think. Like, I got so used to the original 3-pack that when they came out with the next set of packs, my whole stance on how I was fighting had to change, because suddenly people had skills that could fight my deck, and my deck, I felt, was like uniformly capable of striking everyone. And now even with this new deck, I haven't dabbled too much into it, but even in like the first few fights, I'm like, oh, okay, I now have to figure out ways around this type of deck, because they didn't have these type of attacks before. It's been great. I really, really enjoy the system. It makes me wonder why I didn't play it when I had physical cards.
Right, exactly. Sorry to bring this up. I just want to mention one more cool new move because now I'm all excited as we're talking about the Pokemon trading card game. But have you seen the new Charizard EX? One of his moves, where
No.
he only has two moves. His first move cost 1 energy. His second move caused or needs like 6 energy, I believe. So it's a lot. But that first move that requires 1 energy, all it is doesn't do any damage, but you automatically get 3 extra energy. So within like two turns,
2 turns, you're killing people.
you could do a move that does 150 damage.
That's
It's
crazy.
incredible. It's incredible. But
That's
yeah,
insane.
so fun. Once again, thanks to you. Yeah.
I'm really into card games and battling games in general. Mostly with like a lot of deck builders, and this one, even though it's based on what is now one of the older deck building games, it's really good. It has a lot of variety to it. There's a lot of like finesse that comes in every deck. Like honestly, I thought at one point I was like, oh, as long as I have strong cards, I'll be fine. That's no longer the case. Like you have cards that are assist cards that help people get energy. You have cards that help shield from damage, while another card may be in your like slot but not as your main card, might be feeding in other cards. There's whole tactics now that really change the dynamic of it. Before I was really fighting it as like it's attack power versus defense, and as long as I can power up my guy first, I'm going to be fine. Now that's no longer the case. I have to actually, there's 2-3 decks I have to switch around to try and play around some of the rule sets that certain decks bring up. And it's been a very good game, and it's great to know that we're going to get even more of it. I don't see it ever slowing down.
Yeah, same here.
Other than that, so I've been actually, this week has been a fairly low amount of video games for me. I played a little bit of stuff. I played so last week I talked about how I beat Diddy Kong Racing. This week I started Donkey Kong 64. I only did the first level, so I did not get too deep into it. I will be next week. We'll talk a lot about it because I've got 4 days of streaming this week, and so therefore we'll play a lot of Donkey Kong. But
Beautiful.
When it comes to Donkey Kong, that game, it's pretty fascinating because you go from the Super NES where they had very little voice recording, and this one has like the full intro scene is a fully voiced scene. It's got, first of all, it's got a 20-minute cutscene, which is kind of unlike games until it became an N64 thing. It looks gorgeous too. I think a lot of people give Donkey Kong 64 flack because of how much collecting you have to do, but it is a very, very good game now that I'm playing it.
Yes, I completely agree with you, Uno. DK64, I know some people weren't the biggest fans of it, but we can say on this podcast, Chugs and Evil Uno, big Donkey Kong 64 fans.
Oh yeah, we love DK64.
It's great. It's
great. I think, and it's weird because like I think the turning point where people started disliking mascot platformers is Banjo-Tooie and DK64. It like started going into too much collecting, too much repetition of levels. But like now that there's not a lot of those platformers out, I find it cool. It's pretty fun to go back and do all this stuff, and it does not control as seamlessly as Banjo-Kazooie, I find, but it is very, very good as it is.
Really, really good.
I love it. It's more Donkey Kong, please. I know I champion it every week, but let's drop some new Donkey Kong stuff, okay?
Come on.
Other stuff, I did put a little more time into TCG Card Shop Simulator. I was mentioning that last week. Not a whole lot of advancement. I played like, I would say 8 days worth within the game. You know, you open your shop, you close your shop. And my shop is like slightly bigger. I'm selling maybe 1 or 2 more products. There's not much more to add. The beauty of it, though, is that it's an early access, and within the fields of things they were talking about, hosting giant tournaments and actually playing the cards in a battle format is in the future. So I think once like this is fully fleshed out, this is going to be a very fascinating game because it's going to be very multifaceted. The same way that you're collecting cards in TCG Pocket for Pokemon, in these ones you are too, to resell them. but there's going to be an eventuality where you could take the cards that you open, and rather than just sell them, you'll be able to play with them as well. And so I'm very fascinated to see when that system has been built up. It's a good game, and also if you had the chance, it's not that expensive, and I've already spent a few hours into it, maybe like 12 hours now, and it's quite enjoyable. If you like repetition, you like managing a store, it's very fun. Another one I played, this was a bite-sized indie. I did not complete it yet, but it's called That's Not My Neighbor, and it's very similar to Papers, Please, where you essentially run the front of an apartment. So you're like the doorman of an apartment, and for whatever reason, there's like been an alien invasion out there, and they're capable of replicating people. And so you have to every day go through a list of people you've confirmed are going to enter the building, and then you have to go through the registry of the building, make sure that they are in fact registered to a room, and then you go through their information, you go through their entry ticket cards, you make sure that visually they haven't, sometimes it's pretty obvious if it's a replicant because they won't look the same. They'll have a giant eye, and so you instantly comedically could just say, okay, well that's obviously a replicant. Bye. But it's been fun. I do like these type of games. In fact, it's surprising that we don't see more of Papers, Please's influence on video games.
Yeah.
But this was very cheap, and it was a lot of fun. It's called That's Not My Neighbor, and I've been playing it on Steam.
Nice.
And then finally the big one, and it results from last week as well. I was talking about Assassin's Creed and how I had played about 5 hours of Shadows. I put in another 10, 12 hours this week.
Nice.
I didn't get to play Valhalla, Odyssey, and Origins a ton, but this might be my favorite one as of yet.
That's okay.
Since Assassin's Creed 2. I think Assassin's Creed 2 is the Assassin's Creed game. Black Flag is up there for a lot of people too. I love the setting. They seem to have done a very respectful version of Japan. It's tastefully done. It's also subdued in a way where Japan, you wouldn't have a ton of villages one beside the other, and so they're not like that either. There's a lot of fields, there's a lot of mountains, there's a lot of forests that you would have to traverse from going from one camp to the other. You got to be using a horse most of the time. But it's stunning. It's a gorgeous looking game, and I actually saw some videos. I'm playing in a performance mode, and if you put it on quality and you have a PS5 Pro, it looks incredible with ray tracing. And I'm not usually the quality over performance guy, but switching it over was fascinating to see the difference. It's really nice. The combat has been exceptional. I've really, really enjoyed the approach to the video game too. You start off as one character for the first few hours of the video game to tease you that later on you're going to play as this one. And then as soon as that happens, you drop into another character's life and you play that character for what is the first open world area. There's definitely going to be a second one from the way it seems to be structured, and that's how Valhalla was as well. And they plop you right into a town. They give you some directives of what missions you could do, but it's up to you to figure out what order you want to do them and what you want to do. And so you can just start heading in a direction on the map and start exploring on your own, which is very neat. There's no, you don't need to have a GPS system. There's not a top-loading map. It's really about finding markers, going around and exploring. And that's been very neat. Or they have a whole story tree that is essentially everyone you interact with and goals that you need to do for them to get the bigger picture of that story going. So for example, Assassin's Creed's through the Animus, which is you're going through people's memories to restructure the past. That's kind of what's going on in Assassin's Creed. A lot of time there's Templar stuff, and it's really to try and there's an ethereal attachment from one game to the other. But we're supposed to be in the future. We're using a device to go back in the past and relive someone's memories to figure out a secret, right? We don't know what that secret is right now. You're just playing it around. But the thing that's cool is that the overarching menu for the missions is from the Animus. And so it shows you like, oh, this character is related to a grander picture. And so if you do things for him, it'll give you more to find in this grander picture. And so there's like a circle that's the 12 people they want you to kill. So those are like the 12 big bosses. That's one story. Then you have certain villages have their own little circles of like, if you want to complete a village, here's everyone in that village. It's a very, the way it's laid out, I've been very much enjoying it. And one part that I've really enjoyed too is that the levels don't adjust to you, so you can get to a region. So I ended up going right to a castle thinking that, oh, I could do this. But there's 140 people in that castle. And I don't have any of
140?
Oh, yeah. These castles are full, dude. It's crazy. And I don't think you're supposed to kill everyone. I think you're supposed to, like, stealthily try and kill a specific person. But my brain is like, no, I can do this. I'll perfect it. I played maybe 3 hours of that castle to realize I'm not supposed to be there yet. People would just one-shot me instantly. But I do like that aspect that I could go and explore those regions. And if I was really, really good, I could clear some first region late game stuff fairly early if I wanted to. And I love that it has that open approach to the exploration for sure.
Uno, that is so cool, because it's funny that you bring that up, because I've been listening to quite a few people talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. You are one of many that has said it's one of their favorite Assassin's Creed games, certainly their favorite as far as the modern Assassin's Creed games. But in addition to the game, like you had said, everyone's saying how absolutely gorgeous it is. I love too the idea, like you just mentioned, with going to these different areas that maybe they're super high level, but this guy was explaining he went into a castle and he was just getting demolished. He's like, what am I doing here? I don't know why I keep trying to do this. But then on like the 4th or 5th attempt, when he went into the castle, it started raining, and then it drastically affected the line of sight that the enemies had. And he was able to clear the castle just because it was raining. Which I was like, oh man, that's so cool that weather matters that much. Like because apparently too, Uno, I would love to hear your perspective as far as the weather system goes, but everyone says it's so realistic.
Yes.
Like it's such a great representation of what that weather condition would be like within a game. Like it's not just visually messed up to be messed up. It really feels or looks like, oh man, it's really coming down outside. So that's cool.
The sounds of the steps are different. Like it also visually is very cool. Wow. Like the rain hits on an angle in a way that like it's not just obstructing view. You see it like reflect on things. You see it hit things as well. And the beauty of it too is it doesn't seem like it's hard coded to missions. It just happens sometimes. It's really like its own cycle. And it has a day and night cycle. So on top of the rain, if you approach a mission at night, you have more shadows that are casted, and it's a lot easier for you to explore. So the only thing that would be an issue to you, especially if you're a stealthy person, when I'm not the greatest, but I've been trying on this one, at night, you have more shadows, and most of it is lamplight lit, so you could go to a lamp and turn off and blow out the candles and essentially plunge an entire room in darkness and just walk around if you wanted to. So it makes things a lot easier if you're trying to kill people at night. And it's a very interesting system for a game that's about assassination. I don't know if they did this on the previous ones, but in this one, it does a world's difference based on either weather or time of day for sure.
Okay. That's such a cool feature. Such a cool feature. And then I just had one more question, because I've also heard this. For the longest time, Uno, I used to think, and I still do think, Ghost of Tsushima is like one of the prettiest games ever. Just an absolutely gorgeous game. I've heard some people say they think if you're playing it on PS5 Pro, that performance mixed with the fidelity, that this game is even prettier than Ghost. So, which is wild to imagine, if that's true. I was curious what you think.
I've seen the wide variety of Ghost as of yet. So I've seen because in Ghost, as you progress in the game, there's a portion of the game that's just burned down, and that has a completely different view, and that's just as beautiful. There's fields of blue flowers, and there's a whole other regions that are color coded. It's a gorgeous game. As of yet, I'm only in one region. It's a lot of green, but man, it looks. I would have to play one beside the other. I think artistically, because I've seen all of Ghost, I would lean Ghost, but fidelity and performance and just like ray tracing and stuff, I would definitely go Shadows. And I know Shadows has another 150 hours for me to explore, so I might get to a point where I'm like, okay, much like Elden Ring. I thought Elden Ring was beautiful, but then you get to late Elden Ring, you're like, yeah, this is one of the prettiest games of all time. So I think there's still a lot for me to explore on that end. But like right now, exploring just the forests, the mountains, the shrines, the castles that I've been, it's a absolutely stunning game, and I would not be surprised if it goes above Ghosts on my list for sure.
Yeah. You talking about this makes me really want to get a PS5 Pro.
Yes,
makes me really want to maybe finally do it.
This might be one of the ones that
sounds awesome.
It makes. This might be one of the few ones that make a drastic difference. Like there are some that you could see on performance, but visual aesthetics, it's not too bad. This one seems like a big jump up. Nice. Some quick Assassin's Creed note since I'm on it too, that we won't talk about it in the news section, but they've been doing so well. Like this is one of their top selling games of all time. It's already had over 3 million players active, 40 million hours played, which makes it the second highest day one sales revenue of any Assassin's Creed, which is very up there. And then on top of that, this is an interesting tidbit, but like on another Ubisoft game, in one day, in 1 week, Assassin's Creed Shadows sold more physical copies than 3 months worth of Star Wars Outlaws did.
No way.
Yeah. And Star Wars is a huge property. People were waiting for that game for a long time.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So it's doing really well.
I know
really
Ubisoft banked a lot on this game, so I'm glad for them that we will probably still see them, in the picture much longer, because this game seems to have been a success for them. And I'm very excited to play more of it and talk about it in the next few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that is it as far as games that we played this week. But that is not all. We actually have a bunch of news because there was a Nintendo Direct about the Switch 1, and there's been some Switch 2 news, which we will talk about right after this. And we're back. Welcome back to All Elite Arcade. It is time to talk the news of the week, and it's an exciting one because we got a Nintendo Direct. We don't always get to get one of those. And not only did we get a new Nintendo Direct talking about Switch 1, they already teased their next Nintendo Direct, which will be coming out on April 2nd, and that will be their first Nintendo Direct that we hear about the Switch 2. Rumors is we're going to get a date. I think it would be foolish if we don't get a date. But as well, a big launch lineup. I'm expecting a lot of crazy stuff. Maybe we can put some rumors around it a little later on for sure. But also equally exciting is the end cycle of the Switch seems to be pretty good. There's a bunch of cool little games coming out.
It sure does. Seriously, this because this most likely, will be the last Nintendo Direct for the Switch 1.
I would think so, yes.
And yeah, you would think, because even this Direct coming out was shocking and surprising. It was like, oh my God, they're going to do a Switch 1 Direct? Let's go. But yeah, you're right. The game lineup that we have for the Switch 1 going forward, it's going to go out strong. It's going to go out real strong.
Yes. Oh, yes. And I think we're also going to see a short period of time where it's probably accessible to 2 consoles for certain games.
Yes.
So I don't think the Switch will be completely dead. There will just be a better version with exclusives coming out very soon. We'll talk about some of the heavy hitters. They actually showed about 32 minutes of content, including a bunch of independent stuff. We may not knock on every door, and so if you hear of a video game that you think we should have talked about, go to youtube.com/AEW Games. Go to comments. Let us know what you thought about the Direct, including the games we don't talk about. I will be in those comments to respond as well. It all starts, I'm not going to go in order. I'm probably going to go with how big the games were. But one of the big ones that I was surprised we were seeing on this one and not the April 2nd one was Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. We actually got to see a completely new look at Metroid Prime, including some gameplay, some new gameplay mechanics. It seems Samus has mystical powers now, which they did not explain, but they teased there will be a reasoning as to why she has it. And as well as a lot of stunning scenery, a lot of Samus's new suit, which is slightly changed in color. It's like a black and red, and a much updated version of it as well. And unfortunately, the only thing of note here is that they did not mention the release date, but they did release a release date of 2025. Now, I have an opinion on this. I think that's by design because I think, and we mentioned this last week, I bet you this is a game that you can play on both Switch 1 and Switch 2.
1000%.
That has to be
to me, there's no question in my mind that like this is going to be one of those Breath of the Wild situations where Breath of the Wild came out on Wii U and the Switch. This is, I'm guessing, I'm with you. I could see this as a Switch 2 launch title, but at the same time, still being on Nintendo Switch 1.
Because the look that they showed was pretty big, and it did not look like they were hiding that much other than information. And so I wouldn't be surprised if on April 2nd, on the Switch 2 Direct, they say, hey, by the way, this is the date. It's a launch title. You can play it on both consoles. Maybe there's something that's exclusive to Switch 2, or maybe they even show the difference. I'd actually be curious to see if they would do a one-to-one trade on that. But very cool stuff. It looks great. I will definitely be playing this.
Beautiful. Oh yeah, absolutely. This is a day one game for me for sure. And like you had mentioned, the footage that we saw, the game looks beautiful.
Yeah,
looks gorgeous. So yeah, really really excited to play this.
Another big one that they dropped was, and this was we knew was going to be coming at some point, but Pokémon Legends ZA. That is the new big Pokemon game. And I believe this is the open world exploration one, and not just a turn-based one. It's about It's about the ZA Royale, which is a tournament where trainers rank up with Pokemon battles that happen in real time. So it's not turn-based and features Mega Evolutions. This is another one that also said it will be coming out in late 2025, which I think to me probably signifies it will also be on both consoles.
Yeah. No, I think so too. I think so too. But this, this looked really cool. Like I love the day and nighttime cycles.
Yep.
Like how different it seems. Where during the day you can kind of explore. Sure, you might see some Pokemon, but then at night these trainers will approach you and you have to fight and do the Pokemon battles. I also love the concept of, again, like you had mentioned, Uno, that you have to work your way up from Z to A. Like that's how the ranking system works. So it sounds like there will be a lot of ranks that you can go up. But yeah, this looks fun. This looks really fun.
Yeah, this looks cool as heck. Very excited for that one as well. We actually got a new, and this is maybe not big news to a lot of people, but to anyone that's played Rhythm Heaven, this is awesome for me. Rhythm Heaven Groove, which is the recent one from the Rhythm Heaven series, which I don't think we've had one since maybe Wii. Maybe Wii was the last time we had a Rhythm Heaven game. Essentially, it's a compilation of little mini games that are rhythm based. And so think WarioWare, but specifically about music, tone, and rhythm. And this one looks very fun. It's a lot of like artistic drawings and like simplified beats that you have to try and pop at. It looks very neat, but the weird thing is that it seems it's coming out next year. Which I don't know why you would tease this one a whole year in advance, because it is not like a big AAA release. But I'm very excited for it as a fan of Rhythm Heaven, and I know a lot of other people are as well.
Nice.
So to me, this is the most fascinating thing they actually announced.
Me too.
Yeah, only Nintendo could think of this, I think. So Nintendo has this thing where on your Nintendo, you can only really have your games digitally on one console, and you could theoretically download it to another one, but it would lock out the other person from playing it simultaneously because it would be on two accounts that have the same. Like, I could only play it on my Uno accounts on one Switch and only play it as an Uno account on my other Switch.
Right.
They finally came out with a solution to this, which I think is very fascinating. The physical cards that games would come out, well, now they're going to sell a Switch virtual game card that is essentially a device that you could take your digital video games, plug them into that device, and then share them with a friend so that they can try your digital games. And while that happens, you are also allowed to play it, but only one user only your main user can play it, and then the people that have the card as well. I don't think any other console maker in the world would think about this. This is like one of those solutions to a problem that only Nintendo has, and only Nintendo can think of a wild way to find a way around it. And I'm actually I think this is fascinating.
I think it's so fascinating. And again, one of the things that really stuck out to me, Uno, as well with these virtual game cards is that it feels like almost renting is back. Like, for example, if I had a game and I wanted to give you my digital virtual game card, what's wild to me is they said that person will have that game for 14 days and then it will automatically go back to the user, the person who actually bought the game. And it just does that automatically. So you could just let your friends play as many Nintendo Switch games as you'd like to share with them. It's just such a cool feature. I thought it was such a cool idea.
And like they also find a way so you could share with people, but also simultaneously no one's gonna be capable of just keeping these games and screwing them over. So they really solved everyone's problem by selling you a new device. And look, yes, they're selling you another device for you to pass on your digital ID codes for your video games. But I just can't believe this is a big thing they're doing. And somehow it sounds, if on paper it would sound like a bad idea, but seeing it in practice, I was like, this is a fascinating thing to do for the Switch. And they also did disclose that it'll go from Switch and Switch 2. So you'll be able to do this on both consoles in the future.
Yeah, this is really cool. I'm very interested to see how this shapes up, because to me, also in my mind, I'm imagining there will be people that maybe haven't bought a game, but then your friend lets you borrow the virtual game card and you're playing the game and you love it, and that 14 days is up. And then that person's like, you know what? I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy this game. I love it now. So it's cool. It'll be very interesting to see how this goes, but it's awesome.
Some other stuff, and those were, to me, are the big announcements, but there's a lot of other stuff that were also shown. They dropped a new social media news app called Nintendo Today. Essentially, you'll get all of your Nintendo news without having to go to whatever platform you have. It's just, you open the app, it has a calendar of all upcoming video games that they have. They do not disclose any Switch 2 information on it. I tried to go and find it just to be safe. I was like, oh, maybe they let it in there. They did not. But the app is very cool. There's a ton of articles in it too, and I'm sure it will advance in the future with more content. It's fascinating. Nintendo, instead of like dropping more stuff on social media, just started making more apps. They made a music one.
Yes.
They made this. They're doing all these mobile apps. So I'd be excited to see what the future of this app is, but it is fascinating as someone who literally has a calendar device on his phone just for video game releases to just now maybe use the Nintendo one and be capable of getting most of my games on that alone.
Right. I love that Nintendo keeps doing stuff. Again, the Nintendo Music app is amazing.
Yes.
I listen to it all the time. It's so cool. I still actually, the second we're done with this podcast, I'm going to download Nintendo Today, because it sounds really cool. And again, Nintendo is probably going to put their heart and soul into this thing as far as relaying news and things like that. But that's cool. I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah, I think them, and this, by the way, it's been released now. You can get on Apple and on the Android devices.
Yes.
But I bet you, because we're already getting a view at it now, this might be like a big portion of what the Switch 2 is connected to. There might be a lot of their advertising done through this. So I'm very excited to see what the future of this is, because they did say that you'll be able to read comic books of your favorite characters on there. There'll be articles, there'll be video games within it, videos and news. So I'm really excited to see like what other things what is it the home of in the future. Yes, we'll see what Nintendo Today has in the future. Another thing we saw a lot of, we saw 2 Tamagotchi Life games, which I don't think I've ever played this.
Not either.
I thought this was Wii Resort at first. I was like, oh, they're making the new, the Mii's are back. Hell yeah. But it was not.
I thought this was Animal Crossing, Uno.
Oh, originally too. Yes. When they started with so they started with like a beach scenery, and I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Animal Crossing's coming back. Instead, no, it's Tamagotchi Life Living the Dream, which is a new Tamagotchi Life that will be coming out. This is the first Tamagotchi Life in 10 years, is what I am being told.
Yeah.
A brand new island that does have Mii's. These are the Mii's, the same Mii's from like Wii Resort and so on. You will be making Mii's, but this one is like essentially an Animal Crossing with Mii's. is what my understanding of this will be. And people seem to be pretty pumped for it. It'll be coming out in 2026. And then I think there's also a remaster of another Tamagotchi Life that is coming out to the Switch called Tamagotchi Plaza. Oh, actually, those are two different things. I'm now realizing. Tamagotchi is the me versions that are human beings. Tamagotchi is like, there used to be Tamagotchi devices, which are little play devices that you would like. You'd have like a little sprite animal that you would have to feed every day, and if you didn't feed it and like let it sleep and take care of it, it would pass away. But that's what those devices were. Now they're making a full Plaza game, which is essentially very similar to the Tamagotchi game. You run a little village of these little little sprites and beings, and it's also simultaneously a shop simulator within the game. So that'll be coming out in June 27th. Both of those look cool. I don't know. Yeah. I might play the Tamagotchi one, the me one, because that looked filled with a lot of weird humor, and I might want to get into that. But not sure if I'll give it my full attention quite yet. And then
sure.
The other thing, there's a lot of other stuff there. There's remasters of Dragon Quest that are coming out. There's some re-releases of video games we never got in America, including like a detective game called Renow. But the last game that I want to talk about is, did you see Marvel Cosmic Invasions?
Yes.
That is, so just recently we had a TMNT game that came out, 2D sprites, hack and slash. This is the same people that made TMNT Shredder's Revenge, making what to me, when I think hack and slash, I think the X-Men arcade games. I think of like Captain America and the X-Men on old consoles. They're making a brand new one of these for Marvel characters called Marvel Cosmic Invasion. It seems, as of yet, they haven't released everyone that's in it, but it's got Nova, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Captain America, Storm, a bunch of other ones. And it comes out this holiday season. It looks stunning. If you're into hack and slash games, it's another one of those, but I play every one that comes out, which reminds me I have to play the Power Rangers one. I have not beaten that one yet. Good. I remember you telling me it just popped in there. It just popped in there.
Yep. Yeah, I am totally with you as far as the excitement on this one. I love a good side-scrolling beat 'em up, and the fact that the people who made Shredder's Revenge is working on this has me now have complete full faith that this is going to be awesome. Mm-hmm. The preview that they showed looked super fun. Like you said, you can never go wrong with a fun side-scrolling beat 'em up, and this looks like it's a blast.
And, other stuff that are coming out. We have a new Everybody's Golf is coming out. Monument Valley, which was those iOS games, is now getting Switch ports. All three of them will be releasing on there. Rift of the Necro Dancer has now been put on Switch. There's a Gradius Origins game, which is a bunch of Gradius games, and a new Salamander video game if you're into those top-down shooters. There's a bunch of other stuff. And we also got our first look at Witchbrook, which is the publisher of Stardew Valley's new game, which is you essentially run a witching school, which looks very fascinating. So do check that out if you have not. The Nintendo Direct is out there, and exciting lineup, but man, all of this makes me just more excited for April 2nd, because we're going to hear about the Switch 2, and even more important of this is if they're showing these games, there was a lot of really cool games in this one. What are they saving for the Switch 2? We had so few main IP games in this. I feel like we're going to get barraged with new stuff. There's no way 2 weeks from, not even 2 weeks, 1 week from now. This came out, and 1 week from now, we're going to get a brand new 30-plus minute Nintendo Direct. They've got to have a lot in their pocket to show. I'm very excited.
I am so excited. I completely agree with you. They are probably holding on to some really, really exciting announcements. This is a great Direct, but exactly what you said. All this has done has made me even more excited for the Switch 2 Direct and just the future of Nintendo in general. I think there's a couple of really big IPs that are due for a new game soon, and I feel like a new console launch is the perfect time to do it. So
that's right.
I'm excited, man.
Let us know in the comments what you think we're going to get. What main IPs do you think? Are we getting a Mario game? Are we getting a Zelda game? Are we getting Donkey Kong? Are we getting F-Zero? Kirby? Splatoon? There's a ton. Nintendo has some of the biggest IP library, I think, in the world as far as like recognizable video game IPs. And I'm hoping they come out strong with this because we know they're getting Prime. We're already getting a new Metroid, which is news enough on its own. It's almost a guarantee we're going to have to see Mario. They already said they're getting Mario Kart. What else is coming out there? We need to know. And let us know what you think. YouTube.com/AEW Games. What are your predictions? My bold prediction? I want to say Donkey Kong, but I don't know. I think I feel like we're gonna have to get a Mario game. I think it's a guarantee we're seeing a Mario game.
I was gonna say that too, and I feel like we're getting a 3D Mario game.
Yes, me too.
That's what I think.
I also think it's gonna jump in, and I also feel like unless it's Odyssey 2, which that alone I think is news, I wouldn't be surprised if it's different than all the other ones too, because they like to restructure Mario in ways that it's a brand new game each time. So I would be very excited to see that.
Me too.
Big Switch week. Also some other news. We've got some good and some bad stuff. I'll start with the bad here. GameStop plans to close a ton of their stores in exchange for investing into Bitcoin, which we can't get too into this because I don't fully understand blockchain at this moment. And I also don't know. I feel like GameStop is mostly a store for buying things and less for video games nowadays. It's very much changed into like a merchandise store. So I could see it was bound to eventually have more stores close down, I think, in the future. The thing I'm baffled is reinvesting all into the Bitcoin when they were also one of the meme stocks to begin with. And so I don't understand what this approach is. And I don't know what my opinion on it is. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I'm not quite sure.
Same here. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't know if it's good or bad, but obviously I love, truth be told, I just love when video game stores are all over the country and all over the world. So
I don't want any stores closing.
I want more stores to open up, and I love video game stores. One of my favorite things to do is just go into a video game store and walk around and look at stuff, or look for some hidden gems and things like that. So, but again, if they feel like this is the right call, then that's what they're going to do. But yeah.
And then finally, some good news here. Game Informer, which recently had said that they would stop publishing their physical magazine. I read many Game Informers. It was a constant. If I went on an airport and had a long flight, I would probably end up buying one of those most of the time. Well, unfortunately, they had closed down, I believe, last year. And they've now been rescued once somehow attached to the previous story, a blockchain firm. So another person invested in Bitcoin and other of those cryptocurrencies has come and saved Game Informer. They purchased Game Informer. And not only did they purchase Game Informer, all of the staff that was fired has been reunited and is now working on Game Informer again, which I think is very cool, especially in the climate of video games nowadays. And a very cool thing for all of us is we will get the magazine again, but they've also dropped the last 3 years of magazine archives online for free if you subscribe at their free account. So you can go and read all former Game Informers. I went and dabbled a bit in that. I couldn't believe that they were just giving this stuff out for free. But very happy for the people at Game Informer. I have friends who are friends of people there, and everyone seems very ecstatic at this moment. This is a good news for sure.
Yes, this is definitely good news. And again, I love flipping through video game magazines. And it's funny that these two stories are the ones that we talked about, because there was a phase a few years ago where I had a GameStop Pro Rewards program, or I paid for that. And seriously, 99% of the reason was I got a free year-long subscription to Game Informer. Once a month, I would get a Game Informer magazine in the mail, and I couldn't wait. It's just that type of media, as we know, is it feels like it's slowly disappearing, and I don't want it to disappear. I love physical media and being able to look through stuff. So again, but the biggest thing for sure is a bunch of people now, working back at Game Informer after being worried about not having a job. So that is amazing news. Amazing news.
And then this last one I want to talk about because I think you'll be excited for this. Lies of P, we know their big DLC. They dropped on the... Was it a State of Play we saw it on? I believe it was a State of Play.
It was a State of Play. Yes.
So Lies of P director says that the Overture DLC that is coming out very soon is at least 15 to 20 hours long. So that's a game on its own. And is for experienced players packing a bunch of bosses and dev ideas that could not fit in the original launch. But it is, I think it's much like Dark Souls and Elden Ring, where they know if you're buying the DLC, you're not early in the game. This is supposed to be late game, and it's supposed to be for people who are looking for challenges. It looks exciting. Visually, it looks incredible. It's good to hear that it will be lengthy as well.
Does. I'm so excited to hear this. Again, to hear that the DLC is 15 to 20 hours long is amazing news. The more Lies of P, the better. And like you had mentioned, I'm assuming this is going to be a situation where you got to be pretty far into the game to then start the DLC. So people will either just be able to go there because they didn't start New Game Plus, or people will have to play through the game again. But I am so excited for this. Lies of P is one of my favorite games in the past 10 years. I absolutely loved it. It's one of my favorite Souls games that's not from Software. Actually, it is, to me, the best non-From Software Souls game that there is. Again, these devs did an unbelievable job. But one of the things I'm most excited about, aside from the having a ton of bosses and challenge and stuff like that, I love that they said it's ideas that devs couldn't fit in at launch. So, like, clearly there's something more there, too, whether it's weapons or game mechanics or story. They've got a lot that they want to pack into this DLC. And again, if this DLC is half as good as the base game, which it's going to be incredible, this DLC is going to be awesome. I cannot wait. I'm so excited to play. This is a day one thing for me, for sure.
Yeah, I believe that's releasing mid-2025, so that you don't have to wait super long for it either. If you were excited like Chugs is, let us know down below, youtube.com/AEW Games, and tell us all about your game in your week in video games. It's finally time. We're done the news. We're done talking about the games we've been playing. It's time for the community mailbag, our favorite segment of the show, and it comes up right after this. Welcome back. It's time for the community mailbag, our favorite segment of the show. Your questions about to be answered. But first, it's all thanks to our friends at Upper Deck from upperdeck.com. Collect your favorite wrestlers in 2024's Upper Deck, AEW, and start your trading card collection today. Unwrap autographs, memorabilia, or premium tech inserts. We have an Allure pack from 2025, our favorite pack of all. Adam Cole, what do we got?
Yes, we do. And Uno, we're starting off strong with a Will Ospreay card.
Ooh, yes. Big Bill. There you go. Look at how shiny these things are. Oh, great Nyla Rose.
So shiny.
Very
great
shiny.
Nyla Rose.
Oh, Paul Turner's got a card? That might be the most exciting.
With an Allure card.
That might be the most excited I've been for a card. Hell yeah, Paul.
I agree.
Bryan Danielson, the greatest of all time.
Oh, yep.
Whoa, that Sheeta one's incredible.
Oh, that one is very cool. Oh, man.
Britt Baker.
Dr. Britt Baker. There we go.
And Adam Cole. Hey. Is that the last one?
Let's go. That's the last one.
Oh, look at that. The Chucks pulled an Adam Cole. How could it happen, right?
How could that happen?
You can get your Allure packs as well as all AEW trading cards at upperdeck.com, as well as all kinds of other memorabilia. Thanks again to upperdeck.com for bringing you the community mailbag. We've got 3 questions today. Some good ones.
We sure do.
Chugs, what do we got?
Some very good ones. We're going to start off with Eli today. Eli, thank you very much for the question. Eli says, Chugs and Uno, big fan of you guys and love listening to Arcade. Thank you. How do you guys find the games that you talk about on the podcast, specifically indie games? You guys have recommended some great, cheaper indie games that I never would have heard of otherwise. I've grabbed Cryptmaster and TCG Card Shop Simulator based on Uno's recommendations and love both of them. Eli, thank you very much for the question. So a big thing for me that has really changed my view or being able to find as many different games as possible absolutely has been the internet. Specifically, YouTube is a big thing for me. Aside from the fact that, again, a lot of my friends who I'm close with, we all love video games and are passionate about them, and we recommend different games to each other. But the big thing for me, oftentimes, is I will YouTube like top 30 games you've never heard of, or like I on purpose will try to find these indie diamonds in a rough many times, and that's how I'll find them lots of times. Like again, whether it's games like Hollow Knight or games like Ender Lilies. Like Ender Lilies is one of my favorite Metroidvanias of all time. The only reason I found out about that game is because I watched someone play the first chapter on YouTube, and I'm like, oh my God, this looks so good. So that's one thing I'm very thankful for is gaming on YouTube and the different content that people release, because there's so many games out there, games that I'm constantly discovering every single day. And that's kind of what I love. I feel like there will never be a day where you couldn't find a game that you've never heard of. It's just, there's so many games out there. So for me, a big one is YouTube for sure.
So I have actually a wide variety of things that I try to find games from. We're very fortunate. We have a lot of friends in the gaming industry, and a lot of times they'll give us a heads up like, hey, I was lucky enough to see this game. I can't tell you much more, but you will want to play this. I'll be like, okay, cool. Like on your recommendation alone, I could do that. I usually go through YouTube and watch YouTube compilations every month. My some YouTubers will make a compilation of all the previous ones that have been released. So like if in February I've played through my games of January, I'll go watch these compilations of January video games that have been released, and then I'll try and pick and choose the ones that I know will work for me. Another big thing that I'm big into is I will go through my Steam recommendations, and almost always it will recommend 2 or 3 games that I for sure want to play. And because I've had a wide network and a lot of time put into independent games, it will push a lot of those independent games at the forefront. And then, honestly, I look at sales a lot. If they go on Steam sale and they've been released 3 months previous, the thing for independent games is they don't make a lot of money and they go on sale fairly quickly. I will go there, and then I will look at any game that has overwhelmingly positive sentiment, and I will always check those out. Yeah. I'm like, okay, if everyone's enjoying this, there's got to be something about this game, and if it grasps my attention, then I end up, dabbling the $15 for a video game, trying it out, and if it didn't work out, that's great. I didn't lose that much money in the end, but that is how I typically find my independent games.
Yeah. Eli, thank you very much for the question. I appreciate it.
Yes, Eli, great question, and thank you so much. Next one is from Anthony. Anthony says, hey, Chugs and Uno, what are your opinions on the future of VR? Are you optimistic, or do you think that the train has left the station? I personally have busted out my Quest 3, I personally haven't busted out my Quest 3 since last year, and I haven't seen any games on the horizon that are making me excited to blow the cobwebs off my headset. That's actually a good subject, because I think 2 years ago we were all very, very excited that VR was looking like it was going to make a turning point. There was some upcoming games. It was going to be a lot cheaper to use. I am starting to think that they may not invest as much in VR in the future, because it does not seem like we have any news for future VR releases at the moment. The last big VR release that I can think of is that Batman Arkham VR that released on, I believe, PSVR 2. And then the big one before that was I think Half-Life Alyx was the biggest release in VR as far as like a game changer for VR. That was one of them. But I don't think we've had that yet. And while I do like VR, I think it is very hard to get people to convince to make the leap into VR until we have a Mario or we have one of the proper IPs introduced to the VR world.
Yeah. Uno, I agree. I mean, I think VR is an excellent, I guess I want to say genre of gaming. We have arcade gaming, we have console gaming, PC gaming, mobile gaming, VR gaming, and it's so cool. It's absolutely amazing what people have been able to do. I do think it's always going to be very, it's gonna kind of be off doing its own thing, I think, in a lot of ways, where I don't think it'll ever overtake, but like I never think it'll overtake console gaming or PC gaming or anything like that. I think it'll be a fun side thing to do here and there that people really enjoy. I do think over time, as the years go on, virtual reality is going to get absolutely wild. And I could see a point in time in the near future where someone really breaks ground and does something absolutely fascinating or incredible, which VR already is so incredible, but I mean, like, really goes over the edge and makes this just unbelievably realistic or immersive game. And then I think people will want to try it. But so I think virtual reality will always be around in some capacity. I don't know if it will ever like explode. Like, for example, the mobile gaming is like the biggest form of gaming that there is. That absolutely exploded. Do I think VR is going to go there? But I'm probably not. It's possible, but probably not. But I do think it will always be around. And I'm excited to see it because, again, the jump in virtual reality from a few years ago to now even has been a massive improvement. So I'm excited to keep an eye on it for sure. It's something I'm definitely going to pay attention to. But yeah, I don't know how big it'll get. I don't know how big it'll get.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure either, but it's a wait-and-see situation for sure. But thank you, Anthony. Great question. Yeah. And, if you guys think differently, do let us know on our YouTube comments, because I would love to see your opinion on that for sure. Last one is from Timo.
Yes. Great question. And Timo, thank you very much for the question. Timo says, hey, guys, I know this isn't about gaming, but I've got a job interview coming up next week. Okay. And could use some of your sage wisdom. Ooh. One of the questions I struggle to give a good answer to is, what's one of your weaknesses? How are you supposed to answer that without sounding bad? Timo, thank you very much for the question. And a very interesting, very great question. Timo, I think the biggest thing for me, as far as generally speaking, is I think it's very, very important when you are in a job interview, and I know it can be difficult, but to be as natural and genuine as possible. I think lots of times people who are hiring people can tell a lot by a person based on how that interaction is within the job interview. Again, it can be nerve-wracking, of course, because you may really, really want to get the job, and this is really important. But I think just being genuine and being yourself and being open and honest about, again, whatever your weaknesses are, maybe say it, but then say, but I really want to work on it. It's, acknowledging it and then also acknowledging that you want to be better at it, I think is okay. It's a tricky question, but I really do think the biggest thing is to have confidence going in there, and also to be as genuine as possible. I think that really does make a big difference. Hopefully that helps a little bit. I'm
going to end up giving such a cop-out answer here. I haven't had a real interview since I was in my early 20s, so it's been quite some time since I've had to interview for a job. Not that I haven't had jobs after, but I've been very lucky in the ways that I've had them. And I've never been asked the weakness question.
I have not either. Yeah. I've not either.
And I know it's like a trope of interviews, and I'm sure it gets asked quite a lot, but I feel like I would get stumped because I'm like, what is my weakness? I really don't know. I know this. I'm a little scatterbrained to myself, but that's why I keep lists. And maybe if you approach it with, yes, I have this that I know I'm aware of, but this is how I address it, it just shows that you have that extra effort and stuff. I will say this though, that's a trick question. And if you say, oh, I don't have any weaknesses, that's actually the bad answer. They want you to be honest. They want you to be open. To say that you're a perfect individual is never true. I would just don't recommend going that route.
They want you to be genuine.
That's right.
They want you to be genuine.
That's right. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for real people, right? Or at least, I would be. I'm hoping this job does too. And I hope you also have the best of luck, Timo, in your job interview next week. That is it for the community mailbag. If you want your questions answered in the future, tbs.com/arcade mailbag is where you can send out your questions. I will be on Twitch this week playing Donkey Kong 64. That's twitch.tv/eviluno. Going to try and get on there at least 3 or 4 times this week. Chugs, what do you got on the docket?
So I'm not going to be streaming a ton based on my travel schedule and how busy I am. However, this week is going to be the biggest week I've ever had in streaming, because I am going to celebrate my 5-year anniversary since I had my very first Twitch stream. That'll be stream 999. And then the next stream after that is going to be stream 1000, the 12-hour extravaganza, the celebration of anything and everything involved in the past 5 years of gaming. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to do giveaways. We're going to play a ton of different games. It's going to be an absolute party. So twitch.tv/thechugs, if any of that interests you.
Yeah, go hit that follow button, because those are going to be 2 big events on the Chugs' channel. And the Chugs never half-asses anything, so he's probably got a whole kinds of notes for this 1,000 episodes. 12 hours is a lot to do. It's a lot to do to stream.
Yes. I've never done a 12-hour stream before. I think the longest I've gone is maybe close to 8 hours. But I'm ready. I feel like celebrating 5 years on Twitch, also getting to stream 1,000. That's a time to do it.
Yeah,
so
it's a perfect time.
We're gonna make it happen.
Thank you, everyone that listened to this podcast. We will be back next Monday. Our episode drops on every podcast network possible every Monday morning. And if you want to watch the YouTube format, that's youtube.com/AEW Games. You can see our beautiful faces as we talk about the video games of the week. Next week, we're talking more video games, and hopefully, just hopefully, we'll get to talk about the Switch too, which I'm very excited for.
Can't wait.
Hit that follow button, and we will talk to you next Monday for more video game news. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.